And we're back, episode 1111, season 2, episode 11 of
Right.
Quantum Alchemist. I am your host, Mr. Alchemistic, which you can call me B, joined by Alex Romero-Vingian, Mr. Quantum himself. How are we doing, brother?
What's up, you? What's up? How you doing, brother? And how's everyone doing today?
Dealing with the chaos magic of the day, which
That's
is not
right.
consequently, that's the name of the episode, Chaos Magic.
It is. It is. After some deliberation before we hit the record button, we decided that was going to be the name. So Chaos Magic it is.
Yeah, I mean, you told me the topics you wanted to talk about, and a lot of it is kind of, oh, look over
Right.
here while we're doing this over here. And, I was watching Trump's speech the other day. I don't know if it was a speech or it was
The
about his
first
first 100
100 days.
days.
First
Yeah, the
100
first
days.
100 days speech. And it just made me, I'm very susceptible to energy at this point, or very perceptive. And the way he was talking, very very much trolling the people who don't like him and pumping up the people who do like him, right? It's just perfect chaos magic to a T, right? And it just I mean I've been talking about it for a while, how I don't trust him, how I feel like he's a puppet, and I feel like he's a figurehead of the moment, right? He is, we've said in the past, he is the most significant politician of our time. He's the man of our time in a lot of ways. And he represents a lot of this dying age of Pisces going into Aquarius. It's the old guard is kind of shifting, and he is kind of this chaos agent in the midst of change. And I think it's a perfect subject person to point at when we're talking about chaos magic. And I have a really good quote from this guy I follow on Instagram talking about it. His handle is Hidden America, and
And
he's a writer. He talks about a lot of this type of stuff, the occult stuff and the esoteric stuff. But he has a really good quote from his new book that he's writing about Donald Trump. And he says, when the name Donald Trump is uttered, it evokes a spectrum of emotions: adulation, hatred, bewilderment, fear. But beyond the theater of politics, beyond the headlines and hashtags, lies a deeper, almost arcane truth. Donald Trump operates not merely as a politician, but as a chaos magician, one who bends reality by weaponizing belief, attention, and symbolism itself. Chaos magic is not about rituals and dark cloaks or the traditional ideas of magic. It is the art of willing reality to change by manipulating symbols, emotions, and collective belief. Unlike traditional ceremonial magic, which adheres to strict dogmas and rites, chaos magic embraces flexibility, contradiction, and opportunism. It is fueled by one law: nothing is true, everything is permitted. The magician of chaos doesn't seek stability. He thrives in disorder, uncertainty, and disruption. His power is not drawn from hierarchy, but from the raw, liquid energy of mass attention. A perfect example is the Donald. Donald literally means the world ruler in Scottish. Now, check this. In chaos magic, a sigil is a symbol created to manifest a desire. The practitioner distills an intent into an abstract form, charges it with emotional energy, and lets it sink into the unconscious, where it can alter reality. Trump is a living sigil. We spoke this reality into existence. The Donald, the world ruler, word magic at its finest. His name, his brand, his gold towers, his slogan, Make America Great Again. All of it forms a hyper sigil, an overcharged mythic symbol that took on a life of its own, independent of the man, the Trump egregore. Trump is less a man than an archetype: the billionaire, the disruptor, the emperor, the trickster, the blasted tower.
Mm, interesting. Very interesting. And with his the Donald, huh, the ruler.
The world ruler.
The world ruler.
And then, we talked about The Last President, the book that was very prophetic about Barron Trump and his adventures, and how he was the son of the last president, who was a populist president. And a lot of the things, the themes of that book are playing out in real time with Donald Trump. And um,
But we
also,
didn't tell you. We did not tell you that at all, guys, on our channel. You know, you guys who've been watching us, we never at all mentioned that that was going to be a possibility. Never did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw it out there because our viewers need to know that we never brought this up ever. And I'm
yeah,
being completely, what's it called? Cynical right now because
yeah.
we definitely talked about this.
I mean, shit, since November, this whole last 7, 8 months have been an I told you so from us, right? Like we've kind of been had our finger on the pulse. We called the election. I called the election on that episode right before I said Donald Trump was going to win, and I named all the reasons why, so that why the left was in trouble, and it's all played out perfectly. Like literally, like we had our finger on the pulse the whole time. We've been prognosticators and prophets when it comes to this political atmosphere. And not to give the media a pass either, because the media, Trump wouldn't be who he was or who he is without the media. The media has been giving him a huge assist. And we talked about this, I believe it was last episode, maybe it was the episode before, about the polarization of the two medias, right? Like if you look at an authoritarian regime like China, it's very one-sided. It's all about the government's best interests. But in our country, and it's very obvious, we have Fox News and the right-wing media, and we have all the left-wing media that is completely anti-Trump, and they're pitting us against each other. It is a psychological operation by the media to be to really shake it out there that you have these two groups, these two choices. You can either be with us or against us, and if you're against us, then we're bold, we're bitter enemies to the end, and
Right.
we hate each other, right? And it's about polarizing people into these extremes, right? It's hurting everybody into these two camps, and a lot
Meanwhile,
of the people,
meanwhile, there are two sides of the same coin, but please continue.
yeah, and they've been actively hurting the middle, right? Because the vast majority, we talked about this in Purple People Eaters, the episode I believe was right after the election, where we were trying to explain to you why Trump won. Because the vast majority of people are purple, they're in the middle, and they swing on this pendulum, this purple pendulum, back and forth based on what the current administration is doing. And the people that run this place know that. They know that the pendulum swings, right? And there's a quote in the quote I shared from this guy on Instagram. At the top of it was a quote from Franklin D. Roosevelt. And if anything in politics happens, you can bet that it was planned that way, right? Donald Trump, this entire run, this 10-year run that Donald Trump's been on, has been planned. And if you look back 30 years into the 80s and when he was on Oprah, and this shit was programmed into us from a long time ago that Donald Trump was going to be a presidential person, right? Ronald Reagan talked about it. Fucking Oprah had him on talking about being the president. Oh, are you going to be the president? And it's literally like this was orchestrated over a long period of time to where even up to the Apprentice, right? The Apprentice, all his cameos in movies. He's in all these rappers, rap songs. Like Donald Trump was programmed as the archetype of the billionaire, right, into our psyche, and
Yep.
and then he was sold to us as the outsider that was coming in to shake things up in politics, right, drain the swamp, and then the media very obviously turned on him, right, and became this attempted foil to foil Donald Trump. And then when the 2020 stuff happened, right, it was like trying to make it seem like it was impossible for this guy to come back from the January 6th stuff, and then the all the prosecution against oh, there's no way that Trump's going to come back from this, right? And then the media and the left have been so insufferable, right? To the point where it's just like they're now the Democratic Party's um, favorability is in the low 20%, right? People are fucking sick of these people. And the Democrats took the 20% on all these 80-20 issues like transgenderism or all that stuff, right? And this is systematic. I'm trying to break this down for you guys, how this worked, how they did this okey doke of like bringing Trump back to power is that the left, and this is by design, the left and the media was so obvious with their lies, so obvious that they got the middle to realize, to look and say, wait a minute, I don't want this, right? This is a programming to a T. This is a psychological operation. If you step back and you look at it, and this is like I'm telling you, it all just clicked. Like I've been having my suspicions about this, but it clicked on this Trump speech about this 100 days because I just saw him for what he is. He's the chaos magician, right? He is the fucking pulling the strings off people's emotions. He is master of. I told my mom that this dude is a master of what he's doing, right? He's the perfect person to be this agent of chaos right now and to do the stuff like the tariffs and the stuff we're going to talk about later in the economy where there's a
Wait,
lot of things.
you mean the stuff that he caved on the tariffs because he's doing them, but then he's not doing them. So, but we'll get into that later, guys. We'll get into that later.
But that's part. This is part of, like, I'm trying to show you the bricks that have been
Right,
put together in the
right, right,
foundation of
right.
this lie, this illusion that we've been sold. That
And that's not right.
whether you're on the left and you hate Donald Trump or you're right
Right.
and you love him, like you have to step back and realize you've been manipulated by
Well, a couple things,
media and by Donald Trump, and the whole fucking political system is a fucking illusion. And
right. A couple things that we want to add that we want to talk about today are the layoffs, the trade deals, and the Ukraine issue. We want to talk about those because those are all relative to the whole thing as well. They're all relevant. And continuing collapse of the dollar and the rollout of CBDCs or tokenized digital money.
which is
Uh,
central bank digital currencies, if you guys aren't familiar.
yep, yeah, that, and then of course we totally slipped on the last one. We slept on the Pope dying, which was a huge, really, us talking about esoteric things. I can't believe we slipped on it. Even one of my viewers was like, "Yo, like you guys talk about esoteric stuff and you guys missed the Pope dying." So sorry about that,
Well,
guys.
luckily, the whole Pope dying process gets carried out over a couple of weeks with the new choosing of the new Pope. So we had time to revisit it, and now it seems like a better time anyway because esoterically, you want to look at like religious or even like the tarot, right? If you look at the tarot, you have the Hierophant card, which is the Pope, right? If you look at the Hierophant card, it's the Pope, and which is the religious leader, the masculine leader of religion, right? Of the spiritual leader.
Right,
And
or the connected.
traditionally,
Mhm.
the energies of the tarot, right? If you really delve into what tarot really is, it's not just the cards, but it's the energy of the astrology of the cosmos, of the the oneness, right, of our consciousness. It's the consciousness. It's the story of us, is what tarot really is. And when a hierophant falls, when a hierophant dies, it's the time for the initiates to rise, right? The people who are being initiated into this next era of energy.
Right.
It's the rise of the initiates, and that's part of the chaos of the shift. And this is why the chaos magician is such an important figure at this point, because and Trump is 100% the chaos agent that is going to bring about these things that they want, because he's the perfect scapegoat when it all goes wrong. You got everybody on the left and the media will probably regain their credibility, right? When all the things that Trump is trying to do goes wrong, or if I'll say if
Yeah,
all the things
and
he's doing goes wrong.
yeah,
Um,
and then and they could always go back and do plausible deniability and be like, well, we did get the administration from Biden who really royally fucked up before, so it's like I got a sinking ship, you know what I mean? So I
yeah,
just finished sinking it.
yeah. Well,
I just finished sinking it.
it's about, this is chess. The world stage is a chessboard. It's why the Masonic Lodge has the black and white checkerboard, right? It's a chessboard. The world is a stage and it's a chessboard. And the way that they manipulate people is they get you to play checkers. I've said this so many times that
Yeah,
your life is a game of checkers. but on the world stage, it's chess. And they are already thinking any great chess player is already 10, 15 moves ahead. And that is the world stage, the people who run the world, people or things that run the world are playing chess. And their job, the people that are the illusion weavers of the illusion, are to get you, the pawns, to think you're playing checkers, right? And it's to get distracted by the little things, right? Like the Abrego Garcia stuff, right? This fucking dude that they mistakenly deported, right? This dude is the perfect
Which is
fucking
BS. It's BS, but that's a different
well, the
story.
whole situation, dude. The whole this is it all clicked, bro, during this Trump speech because I was able to take a look back, step back, and look at this situation. Right, it's a perfect orchestration. It's the perfect storm for the left to grab onto and for the right to grab onto and get them to argue. Right, it's a perfect because the dude is a piece of shit. He had a deportation order. He was an illegal alien. He's probably a gang member, right? But also they probably jumped the gun on deporting him, right? So it gives the left a bunch of stuff that they can, a bunch of rope that they can play with,
Right.
but it
Because
also gives
they avoided due process.
yeah, oh, they avoided due process, and it's a slippery slope, the slippery slope argument. Oh, well, if we can just deport people, and now, there's someone on CNN's like, oh, now they're coming for next, they're gonna come for the colored people, or it's just fucking fear mongering, right? Like thinking, making black people think that, oh, you're gonna get deported now. It doesn't matter.
They're
Oh,
gonna send you back to Africa.
yeah, all bets are off now just because they deported this guy with no due process. Now it all falls down. But then also the right can look and be like, well, look at this guy. This is the guy that you've chosen to be your poster boy. This is the guy that you defend. The guy who beat his wife and he could be a gang member. He's like the poster boy for everything the right wants to get rid of, right? A possible criminal. He could fucking he's like MS-13. Like he could be go out there and kill some woman like Laken Riley, right? So it's the dude is the perfect storm. And it's like
Bro,
they couldn't have had a better fucking situation fall in their lap, the media, right? To fight over. And it's not a fucking mistake. They did this on purpose.
dude, it's
He,
wild to think that if my dad gets pulled over for something right now and like they don't want him here, bro, my dad can get deported. That's fucking crazy.
well, it's also like the perfect situation to put that type of fear into people like your dad, right? It's all about fear.
He's like, I hope they do. He's
Yeah.
like, I hope they send my ass back to
It's
Peru. He's like,
it's
because this shit
nothing
sucks.
it's nothing but fear and division that is sold to us. And like Trump is the perfect chaos agent to breed this environment of separation. Like and that's even me like looking at some of the things he's doing and liking it, right? Like I like some of the things he's doing, but I also understand that everything in politics is a show. It's none of it is fucking. This is all just it's contrived, right?
Right. It's
The
all
political
designed to make
system,
you feel something.
well, and it's all designed to take your power. We talked about this during all the political episodes back in November. Is like the whole system is designed to get you to give your power away, to get you
Right.
to think that this entity that is Donald Trump and the government has any type of power over you. It doesn't. But because,
The moment you feel despair, you gave them your power.
yeah, it's if you feel despair or hope, right? If you feel hope, like this, that was the okey doke of Obama, right? The entire Obama
Yep.
administration was this okey
Yep.
doke of hope, giving us hope coming out of the horrible George W. Bush shit, all the wars, and this hope for change. Oh, and
Right.
and what
Which,
did it
which,
do?
which I'm glad you brought that up because didn't Donald Trump say that he could get us out of the war in the Ukraine in 24 hours? Didn't he say that?
Hope, opium.
Right.
It
And tell me why the news headlines today read Vice President JD Vance says we're not getting out of there anytime soon. Why do we have new trade deals in Ukraine? Why is the war getting extended in Ukraine? Oh, is it because it's too profitable to keep the war machine going in Ukraine? Maybe, just maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know, bro. Maybe I'm just talking shit.
no, because I mean, Trump came in, saw all the fucking money that Biden made through that whole fucking thing. He's like, maybe we should keep this going, you know? And then like the tariff stuff, like the tariff okey doke, right? Oh, we're gonna tariff, and then the fucking stock market tanks, and then all the
Oh,
fucking fat cats can stock up on stocks, right? At a low, at a premium, because all the fucking the paper handers, they call them paper hands, right? They all paper hands. Oh, I can't afford a loss. They all fucking sell their stocks, and then here come all the fat cats like BlackRock and fucking Vanguard and all the fucking
yep,
all these hedge funds and shit can buy up a whole bunch of stocks on the cheap.
yep.
Oh, we'll take the tariff away, and here comes the fucking blow, the bounce back, right? And the stock come
Guess,
right back
guess,
to the
guess who,
green.
guess who went liquid just before all this shit happened? Berkshire Hathaway liquidated $300 billion of assets into liquid cash. What what a cosmic coinkydink, huh? Like
Oh
just in the nick
man.
of time to be able to scoop up a bunch of shit on the low low.
Wow, they must have a great fortune teller. We've talked about that
Dude,
before, man.
this
And
this shit is like ridiculous.
dude, it's so funny, man. And we were talking about this before, right? It's um like when we see, right? It's like we see, and in our own lives we have challenges, and then I'm having some more little challenges coming up, and then, like it's not even phasing me anymore. I don't even fucking care. Like, right? I'll fucking go walk the streets. I know that I'm gonna fall in a fucking net, right? Like I haven't been prepared for all of this, and given all this knowledge and been able to like see through the illusion to the degree that I can to just go nowhere, right? Like this is going somewhere. I know it is, and then there's all these tests, and it's just part of the path, right? It's like you get challenged and tested, and the environment starts to fucking rebel against you, right? The people around you start to fucking
Right,
hate on you. The people around you start to like not dig being around your energy because you're through the roof. Your energy's so high that they can't
right.
compete with it. So they're like, "Oh, I hate
So
that
they,
guy,"
so they
you
turn
know?
against you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because your energy is so like, um, it makes them feel so inferior, right? And not because they are,
Which is
but
not your
because
fault. That's not your
no,
fault.
but it's not because they are inferior. Like nobody's inferior to anybody. Everybody's equal, but
Right.
like not everybody's put in the equal amount of work into their own body, into their self,
Right.
to elevate the energy up to the level that it can be, like the potential.
Right.
Like,
And keep this in mind, folks, that we could tell you a million things here and you'll have all of the knowledge, but if you don't have the understanding, it's just as bad as not having the knowledge. Because you could have the knowledge but not understand it. So this is
or
what doing the work does.
worst thing is to have the knowledge and not apply it.
Well, there's that part too. Yeah.
Oh, like you have the knowledge, you know what's going on, and you still get caught in energy trap.
Well,
You
well, actually, you're right. Because in this is one of the things that we've discovered. Well, at least I came across back in the day, which was learned knowledge not applied is wasted knowledge. Because you're right that it's the fact that you know something and not applying it is the greatest travesty of all. Because you have the capacity. Because if you know something, you may not understand it so much, but if you know something and you work at it, you'll get the understanding that you seek. But you have to work at it. It doesn't just come. Doesn't
I
just
mean,
manifest itself.
at least the ignorant have that as an excuse in a certain way, right? They just don't know. But when you know and you still don't act, that's the worst thing of all.
Yeah.
There's no more hopeless situation than to be blessed with the knowledge and then to spit in God's face and be like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do what you tell me to do. And it's hard, dude. It's hard to do this shit, man. It is like one of the things that I avoided for the longest time was I knew I had to quit nicotine, but I kept doing it and I kept perpetuating that cycle, and it just kept me stuck energetically, and I couldn't release myself from that bondage to this cycle of self-destruction and addiction, and it was just a byproduct of my own lack of self-love, right? My own unwillingness to heal, my own unwillingness to take that step I knew I needed to take to get to that next level of energy, that next level of understanding and healing and being, because it's like you're limiting yourself when you
Yeah.
and you know, and this we talked about this before, you know what you have to do. You're getting downloads, you're getting signs, you're getting little like intuitions. Hey, you need to do this. You need to stop fucking drinking
Right.
every Friday and getting wasted, right? Or whatever it may be for you. Everyone's got something. And
Right.
Manly P. Hall called them morbid attachments, morbid addictions, or
Yep.
yeah, morbid attachments, right? It's these things that we know aren't good for us, but we can't let them go because it's just so uncomfortable to stop. And because that, to a certain degree, this morbid attachment offers some kind of comfort or offers some kind of stability within our own routine, right?
Yep.
But like at the end of the day, man, I haven't smoked any kind of nicotine or anything for almost 3 months now, and I feel fucking fantastic. Like
Oh,
literally, like
congrats,
how
bro.
did I get stuck in this rut for so long where I was so tied to this horrible fucking thing? And now I look at things like cigarettes or vapes, and I'm just like, ooh, like
That's
how?
awesome. I love
And
it.
like, dude, I feel great. I've gained like 15 pounds and not bad weight, like good weight. It's like my body has has finally started, like it's like Ferrari, right? You need to take a Ferrari out and blast out a lot of carbon, right? To clear the energy, clear the engine. And I feel like doing the nicotine that long was like taking a Ferrari into traffic, right? And keeping it,
Or putting regular gas in it.
yeah, keeping it in first gear and going in fucking LA like bumper to bumper traffic, never fucking good, like turning it out and putting it up into fifth or sixth gear. Like I feel like a Ferrari in sixth gear now. Like I feel like so much better, and my body looks better, and I feel better. Like everything that like my the food that I was eating, I don't have to really like watch my diet really. Like I don't eat terribly, but I'm not like penny pinching calories like a lot of people. But like I saw like a shift, right? Like once I got off the nicotine, my body just like started processing everything better. Like, my started building muscle better. Like my digestion's been better. Like just my sleep has been better. Um, and it was just because I
So,
finally took that step, and
so
it's
side note
hard.
to
It takes
folks.
discipline.
So side note to folks is definitely try and take some time to detox. If you drink, if you smoke, give your body some time to cleanse and just see what the difference is before and after, and see if you want to go back to it after a few months. You probably won't. Chances are highly unlikely that you'll want to go back.
Especially with something like smoking, dude. Once you get
Yeah.
I watched this tarot reader. She's fantastic. It's like Magic by the Moon, I think is her name on the TikTok. But she was talking about addictions, right? Like one of the things she talks about is addictions and how it takes 66 days to reset. Like reset it's really like your brain, right? When you have an addiction like a nicotine, it's like a ring in your brain. And it's like every day you're going on this ring in your brain of like habit, of repetition, and you have to reset that ring. You have to like stop it. In order to get past the addiction, it's not necessarily the substance that your body's craving. It's that repetition that has been burned into your brain, right? So you have to rewire your fucking entire brain to get out of that ring, right? And it takes 66 days, and I'm on like 90 now, right? Once you get past that 66 days of not doing that, not using that substance, bro, you will never want to go back ever. And it's hard. Like it's probably the hardest addiction I've ever quit. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And 66 days is really not that many when you're in the grand scheme of things, and you can do it. You can do it. I'm fucking testament. There's a lot of people who've quit it, and I guarantee you there isn't a single one of them that says, "Oh, I wish I still smoked cigarettes." Because if they did, they would. It's
Well,
like
I'm very
it's a terrible addiction, and
B. I think it's great. And I think that more people could take a example.
uh,
Lost you. Oh, there you are.
yeah, we're almost out of time. I think that's a good way let's segue now and
Oh,
reconnect, since we're losing the connection a little bit. But
perfect.
yeah, guys, you can
We'll
do
be
it.
back.
Just have the discipline, put in the self-love, and you'll be surprised at how great you feel after you kick these addictions, man, because you're worth it and you can do it just like I did. So we'll be back with part two, talk about some chaos magic.
All right. See you.
People always say I'm the Beatle who changed the most, but really that's what I see life is about. The point is, unless you're God conscious, then you have to change because it's a waste of time. Everybody is so limited and so really useless when you think about the limitations on yourself. And the whole thing is to change, try and make everything better and better. And that's what the physical world is about, is change. But the change that happens through meditation, I mean, it's a gradual sort of thing. But the more you realize with anything, with just growing older, the more you realize it helps you in some way. With meditation, you're able to understand that there is this unity lying beneath everything. There's something there within every atom that holds it all together, and that in actual fact it really is one. But on an intellectual level, to say it is, we are one, then, I mean, again, you miss the point. It's an experience. You have to really have that perception that it's one. Maharishi said, for a forest to be green, each tree must be green. So if you stand back and criticize the rest of the people, it's again, Christ said, put your own house in order. Automatically, if I'm to criticize somebody else, I suddenly come back to myself and realize until I'm straight, then I'm in no position to be able to criticize others. So it helps. It's a slow. Also, it helps in as much as you can. Any time of the day, any situation you're in, you can get control of yourself just by sitting quietly and by turning off from the external problems that you have, noise and all this society. You can go inside yourself where it's always calm and peaceful. It's like being on this level of consciousness. It's like the ocean, which is always changing, and the bottom of the ocean is always calm and still. And if you're not anchored to the bottom of the ocean, you're at the mercy of whatever change goes on. Now, this process of meditation or different types of yoga is all just a way to anchor yourself securely to that pure state of consciousness, to that state of being, so that you can still act out your life on the surface, but you remain anchored securely.
And we are back for part two of Chaos Magic.
On
Part one,
episode 11.
talking about Donald Trump and his chaos, his role as the chaos magician in society in this time of massive shift, time of systems collapsing and coming from being reborn like the phoenix and the order out of chaos and all the stuff that's coming up the docket. And Alex has some actually up to the minute news on this very topic of the economy and everything that's going on with Donald Trump. So
That's
go ahead.
right. That's right. That's right. So while we took a little break, B had to go and make sure that the video got uploaded and everything or downloaded. So I went and I tuned into my market news, and sure enough, Greg Manarino talking about Trump asking for $1.32 trillion as a national security kind of an advance from the Federal Reserve, which if anyone was following what was going on, supposedly there was some tensions between Jerome Powell and the Donald Trump, and then like about a week ago or a week and a half ago or so, they got real chummy, and they made it very clear that there's not any type of tension, that they're actually buddy buddy, and that the relationship with the Federal Reserve wasn't going to grow apart. In fact, it was going to grow even further entrenched. Which this is kind of like where I mentioned to be. I wanted to talk about something called Project Hamilton, which was a project that it's on the Federal Reserve website, which is in collaboration with MIT and Boston University to create a pilot program for CBDCs here in the United States. And so they've far surpassed the pilot program, and have no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, the systemic collapse of our economy is being done to bring about this pilot program to a household near you in America. And so that's what this whole thing is about, you know. And the package that they're asking for the money for us is going to add inflation, and it's going to also keep us in wars. And the trade deals that we have going on, they can't talk about any of them because, well, let's be honest, there probably aren't any or many. And the ones that there are profitable for the profiteers and not for you and me. We're still financing all of this stuff. But again, we could only finance this stuff so long as the dollar is the acceptable means of trade. The moment that we start talking about getting off the dollar where people don't want it, then our printing press is useless because we couldn't print enough money to pay what these people would need. So we got to break the printing press. The only way to really break the printing press is to, well, print more money. That's it, y'all. We got to print more money.
It's been happening pretty willy-nilly the last 5 years since COVID. We did detail this. 40% of all the money ever printed has been printed because of COVID and since. And you talked about the dollar, people not wanting the dollar. Well, the dollar is the world trade currency.
Right.
But
they not only don't want the dollar, but they don't want the debt associated.
Yeah, the dollar has been sunk in a lot of ways in debt with this willy-nilly printing. And we're talking about how this has been orchestrated, right? Trump is the perfect man at the perfect time to do the things they need to do. And if you look at one of the things in this country that we are kept from is this knowledge of what's about to come. It's the chess game, right? It's like if you pay any type of attention to what's going on with the BRICS nations, which is a trade agreement between Brazil, Russia, India, China, and what's the S?
South Africa.
South Africa. So the BRICS nations, this coalition has been forming for the past 10 years.
Which, by the way, those are the main ones. There's other countries that have joined.
Yeah, they've joined in, but those were the ones that started it. Wasn't India, it's Iran. Sorry. But this coalition's been forming for a while, and the goal of this coalition is to basically shut us out and to trade without the dollar, right? To trade with their own currencies between these countries, which is basically a no-no.
Which is basically a pilot program to trading on something other than the dollar.
It's the foundations of the move away from the dollar. This has been warned about for a while, and if a lot of you aren't tuned into what the fuck is happening because you live in the United States and you're distracted with bullshit with bread and circus, and you're worried about stuff like can 100 people beat one gorilla? That's the big thing right now on the internet is debating whether 100 men could beat one gorilla in a fight. This is the type of stuff you're distracted with, and you don't.
Or 90 Day Fiance.
Or be getting wrapped up in hating or loving Trump and arguing about politics, and it's all this distraction to keep you from seeing what's happening on the chessboard. And on the chessboard for the last 10 years, the BRICS nations have been and slowly creating this environment to go away from the dollar. And it's this, and then you look at COVID and all the money printing, the Fed created an environment where the dollar is very unstable. And so all these things, and then we got this chaos agent in the White House at the perfect time when all these things are intersecting at the same time. He starts these trade deals that are making the world trade economy uneasy.
Mysterious trade deals, by the way.
And all this fucking with the stock market and the dollar, and no one is he in bed with the Fed, or is he against the Fed, or is it? It's just
Chaos.
it's
Yeah.
chaos. It is chaos, and you know we talked about this the last episode, the episode before that was the word that was used by all of his opposition to describe his administration. The media kept showing all these different politicians, puppet, saying the same exact thing about, oh, it's chaos, it's chaos, it's chaos, chaos,
He's a
chaos.
threat to our democracy.
Yeah,
Chaos.
it's
Chaos.
programming this chaos into your mind, and the fear of it, the fear factor of what's coming. Oh, and getting you paralyzed, right? And this is the paper hands in the stock market, which is all the people who can't afford a huge loss. Because I'll tell you what, these hedge funds and these billionaires, they can afford a loss. They can afford a little bit of pain in the stock market for a while because they know what's happening, right? They know ahead of time, and then they can invest in when all you paper hands motherfuckers who have barely, a pot to piss in, and you're selling your stocks because you can't afford fucking groceries. Like you've dipped your toe in the stock market and it's not working out for you. Those are the type of people they're trying to drive out with this stock chaos. So all these Black Rocks and fucking Berkshire Hathaways can come in and fucking clean house and get a bunch
Right.
of fucking stocks at a discount price. Like, eh,
Which is all being held up artificially anyway, because if you look at the top companies, most of them are being ran by the same people anyway. So they're just moving money from one pocket into the other. Okay, so don't let that shit fool you guys. These guys are going down. All right. If you look at what the trend is, the trend is they want to tokenize shit. That's why Project Hamilton is so important, because they want to tokenize your dollar. They want to
yeah,
give you a token. If you hear Jerome Powell talking about the dollar token, what do you think he's talking about? He ain't talking about your stocks. He's talking about your dollars.
yeah.
And guess what you buy stocks with? You buy stocks with dollars, don't you? Yeah, you forgot about that, didn't you?
The CBDCs are so dangerous, you guys. And if you guys don't understand crypto, you don't know the type of control they can have over this stuff. You can look no further than the COVID pass, right? The COVID pass was this techno pass that you'd have on your phone that would say whether you had the COVID shot or not, and then it would or wouldn't allow you into places. This is what they're pitching, right? And behind the CBDCs is the same type of incentives of economy, right? Like incentives of participation. And if you don't do this, then you can't do this, or
Right.
like them being able to put conditions on your money, like, oh, you can't buy fucking 20 cheeseburgers this week. You're limited to 10 cheeseburgers, right? It's like putting a control mechanism on your money, on what you can and can't spend it on. Oh, this week you've had enough luxury this week. You can't go to the fucking water park this week. You can't
Right.
go do this with your kids. Like you can only do this with this money. And that's what the central
Right.
bank digital currencies, the danger of them is more centralized control over economy, over what you can do with your money, the purchasing power. It's taking away your power over your currency. And this is why people have been signaling the warning about these CBDCs, because it doesn't have the freedom that a Bitcoin would have, right? Bitcoin is a free cryptocurrency, and that there's no conditions attached to it, and that there's no they can't trace it, right? It's untraceable. Like if
Uh,
well, to a certain degree,
yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
certain freedom there's in using it, right? Like there's a
Right.
time. I hope the IRS isn't watching, but
let's
I
let's
had
let's just clarify. Let's just clarify something for anyone watching any of this stuff. Using technology, if you trying to hide shit, the worst thing you could do is use technology, because technology is gonna leave a trail. So if you want to do some dirt, leave your phone at home. Don't bring your phone nowhere around your fucking dirt, because
yeah,
it,
and use
it like
cash,
yeah, or yeah, and
use
that's just
cash,
all.
and use cash and use a burner.
Yeah.
This is why drug dealers deal in
Don't even need to
cash.
burn it, bro. You meet up in person, have a meetup spot, and don't use a phone, bro, because your phone is gonna burn you. Your
Yeah.
phone is going to burn you. Anyway, that's not what this podcast is about. Keep it moving.
No, but they're just trying to illustrate like why the CBDCs and Project Hamilton is a threat to us and our sovereignty is that it's just further digital restraints upon currency. Like they can put terms on your money, and this is why like a cashless society has been warned against because the convenience that we are enjoy with having a card to swipe or a microchip in our fucking hand, like the convenience that's going to be sold with it is going to come with conditions and terms, right? And if you most of you don't read the terms and conditions on your fucking on any of the stuff that you agree to on your phone or so like just imagine what they're going to try to pass through with the terms and conditions
Well,
on money or
well, well,
you,
there is good news and there's bad news. There is good news and there's bad news. The good news is that, or I start with the bad news. The bad news is that we're not going back. We didn't get to this point to just magically decide we're going to go the opposite direction, go back to where we came from. It's just not going to happen. So that's the bad news.
we're just going to go back to cash and the gold standard. Yeah, after all these years, all
Right.
this
That's just,
50 years of work we've put into to changing this
yeah,
shit. Yeah, it's
it's
not
not
happening.
going to happen. Right. So what that tells us is that all we can do is prepare, embrace to move forward. So while we know that the dystopic system is on the horizon, the dystopia is on the horizon. This is the reason why, people are actively working. Like if let me tell you why you don't hear about a lot of the solutions that are going to come about when these things when this era comes about, when they finally do collapse it and they usher in the CBDCs. Like there are people who are actively working at systems that are going to basically break into smaller ecosystems so that you don't have to rely on the teat of the federalized system. Okay, because the system's going to be federalized for a reason because they have their system, they've got their cronies, they've got their people, they've got everything in place. They don't need you. Well, actually, I take it back. They do need you. They need you to feed their system by continuing to feed on their teat and continue to believe in all the propaganda and all the bullshit they feed you through their media channels. So the way that you avoid that, the way you get off of it is you stop believing the bullshit, you stop tuning in, you start going to alternative sources for your goods and your purchases and things like that and your services, and you start going into more community-based systems, community-based ecosystems, and then you will exit the federated system. But there's going to be one there because unfortunately, and I'm sorry, brothers and sisters, but not everyone's going to manage to get off the teat. It's just like it's just not going to happen.
Convenient that well, the convenience of it all is where they get you, right? They make it
Right.
so much easier just to comply. That's why so many people got the COVID shot. It's just easier to just comply and
Oh
have,
man,
you know,
yeah.
it's
They made it
so
so difficult. You couldn't travel, you couldn't get a job, you couldn't do literally nothing if you didn't get the jab.
and the jab was such a psychological operation because it was
Self-sacrifice.
data mining, right? They were data mining the population to see who would comply, like and would see what kind of pressures and stimuli would be required to get people to comply. How are we
Mhm.
going to get the mass,
Right.
the most
That
people? They're just turn it up a little. It's the frog in the boiling pot, right? Just turning it up the fucking heat and slowly
yeah.
boiling the frog. And a lot of us were like smart enough to just jump out of the pot, right? Like we aren't fucking doing any of this ever. You can kill me and I won't do it. Like I don't care. I don't want to be a part of that world. It's like, and
Yeah.
then the more people come to that understanding and of that, like there are certain things worse than death in this world, and giving away your soul is one of the things worse than death, and you won't realize how bad it is until it's gone, right? Like there's no when there's a point of no return. So what it's going to take is the courage to stand up against it, the courage to be like, you know what, I don't want your fucking federal teat, and as you progress on the spiritual path and seeing the spade for a spade and seeing what it is seeing the whole system for what it is, the
Right.
more willing you are to just be like, no, absolutely not. Like this body is only a fucking temporary shell of life, of this experience, but there is something beyond this world, and I'm not giving that up to live in this fucking place, right? Like
Right.
there are certain things that there aren't going to be compromised upon, and my soul is one of them. I'm not giving it up just for out of convenience because it's going to be easier to buy fucking cheeseburgers or whatever, you know? Like,
And for any
uh,
of those of you who did, I got the jab, for example. I got one of them, and this is before my basically resurrection and my what is it called, my phoenix moment. I didn't have a lot of the understandings that I have now, and I caught COVID, and I got in a way I got conned into getting the jab. So it can happen. They played on my emotions. I was actually turned into a kamikaze. I put my uncle in the ICU, and I damn near killed my dad because I was a carrier of the COVID virus, and I spread it, and I pretty much, so I felt responsible, and because of that, I was basically guilt tripped into going to get the vaccine. And after I got the first one, I was like, what am I doing? No. So like, you know, I only got one, but yeah, like shit's real, man, and like I have to live with that. I have to live with knowing that, but I forgave myself, and I'm doing everything I can to, enlighten you, to let you know that you don't have to follow my steps, save yourself. What's weird, bro, is to this day I walk by and I look and I can still see that there's CVS or Walgreens with like COVID-19 vaccines, and I'm like, bro, like really, like still
well,
25,
there's
they're still
people
offering
probably
that shit. It's so weird.
there's probably people that are on their
I
12th
don't know,
shot or something.
and I think I lost you.
You're a little
You
frozen,
kind of,
but I can still hear you. There you go. You're
oh,
back.
gotcha.
Um,
Yeah, it's so bizarre.
there's people that have gotten it seasonally every couple of months probably since it came out. I'm sure there's people on there like 12th shot, like, and God bless them, they're still here. So, keep getting that COVID
You're right.
shot.
Keep it pushing.
Keep getting more gear injected
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, if
Who
it
knows
works
what
for you guys, listen. If it works for you guys, I'm not trying to tell you how to change and do your lives, bro. We're just saying that there's other ways that you can do it. You don't have to go that route. Now we're trying to just present to you a different perspective of how you can do things just a little bit differently, so you don't have to put your life at risk any more than you have to. Because literally everything in our reality, our 3D, is designed to kill us or keep us sick, so they can keep profiting off that slot machine that you are, because you're the real value. When you put your money into their pockets, you're the value.
yeah.
Say you're the slot machine. You are the triple sevens, homie. You are the triple sevens. You are the jackpot. That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry to put it this way, guys. It's pretty shitty, isn't it?
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
they try to get you hooked on their teeth because you are their teat, right? Like they have to try to get you to suck on their teat because in reality, you are their actual teat, right? You
Right.
are the fucking energy creating. You're the energy
You're the
machine.
battery. You're the
You're the
battery.
battery, just like the Matrix. You're the battery that powers this system. It does not exist without you, which is
Right.
why if enough of us don't comply, then the thing falls apart, just like COVID, right? Once it got to the point where enough people weren't complying, they're like, all right, time to pivot. Our psychological operation's over. And they got a lot of good data out of that. I'll tell you that much. Like whatever they're coming next with is probably going to be even more intensely
Yeah.
psychologically,
Yeah. Make that one look like child's play.
yeah, the pressure they're going to put on because they got a lot of data. Um, and the stakes are higher now because more people are aware of what's happening to a certain
Right.
degree. But part of this podcast is about sifting through the bullshit because a lot of you think you're woke, and I'm not talking about fake woke, like leftist woke. A lot of you think you're woke and you have the truth, but like a lot of you have your hands in the Matrix sponsored version of truth. Like you think you're awake, but you're really not. You're really just you just been diverted from one lie to the other lie, and um luckily I feel like I'm at a point where I just see it I just see all the bullshit. And Alex and I are here to give you our perspective. Not to say that we are the fucking end all be all, but I've been on this fucking train for so long, man, that like nothing really gets by me. I can't get okey doked anymore. I feel like I'm immune to the okey doke, and um, I want to try to help other people to get through it because it's really daunting. It's really daunting with all the information. This thing is a blessing and a tremendous curse because there's so much here that it's really hard to sift through it all, and it's really easy to get caught in the distractions. It's really easy to even if you think you're playing chess, right? You think you're moving your queen, but then you step back and you're really still playing fucking checkers. And the checkerboard and the chessboard look very similar.
Yes, they do.
It's really easy to get swept back up into a checker game, and it's part of the chaos magic, right? It's just this world of illusion. And that's what magic really is. What does David Blaine do? He's a master illusionist,
Right.
right?
So
Magic is illusion.
So
Um,
a few things to look out for from our great MAGA, right? The great magus, the great magician, right? Make America great again, right? That's what we're all talking about. So a few things. Just a little quick recap. Trade deals, can't really name any, right? Tariffs, brought them up, had to back down on them, had to cave on the tariffs because things weren't lining up the way they wanted to. Stock market going down. Dollar index going down. Layoffs going up. War in Ukraine not ending. Not in 24 hours, not in 48 hours. Uh
Pope
uh
dead as a doornail.
Pope dead as a
Pope's
doornail.
dead as a doornail.
He ain't coming back.
No,
Not
he's done
today, not
for.
tomorrow.
You saw it. You
Okay.
saw him laying out there in that casket. He's dead.
Yep, he's gone. He's out of there. Next one, oh, they want to print more money, right? They want to institute the Fed to print 1.32 trillion more of your dollars to further inflate your money and to further dilute your purchasing power at the pump and at the grocery store counter. Like, dude, have I named one good thing yet? Like, no, not one good thing has happened yet. And let me tell you something, it's designed that way. Like, yes, he is here to carry out the job of dismantling this company. And by this company, I mean the Virginia company, not the DBA, the doing business as United States of America. I'm talking about the Virginia company, the OG United States 13 colonies. The motherfuckers are going down. That's it.
Yeah.
It's it. It's a wrap. And I wouldn't be surprised, and this is how I see the world stage playing out. Like, okay, we got to play it out where like the world is uniting against the U.S., which is the BRICS, because they're all figuring out how to manage their value without the dollar, so that the dollar could implode. Because the dollar has to collapse. Like, there's no way it's going to survive. The U.S. dollar is not going to survive. It's If it does, it's going to be a digital version of it. It
I
just
think that's going
cannot.
to be the phoenix. That's going to be the phoenix that rises. That's going to be their solution, right? Is the dollar's going to collapse, and they're going to be like, "Well, this paper is worthless, but we got this digital version, right?" And
Meanwhile, it's always been really digital, but
we talked about Mr. Robot last episode. Not a lot of you watched it, but if you haven't watched it, please watch it. It's Mr. Robot's very relevant because the collapse in that show was predictive programming. There's going to be a huge um, moment. What's the uh,
climax.
climax? Call it climax. If there's a red herring or something like, there's going to be a moment, right? There's going to be a something that happens that collapses all of it, right? There's going to be this either a war or something, right? Some big terrorist attack, or I can't even prognosticate what it's going to be. It's going to be a
or like
big event, right? The dollar's going down, right?
a
It all
black
fucking
swan.
towers, controlled demolition of the United States, right?
Right.
And
The domino
seminal
effects.
moment, a seminal moment. I think that was what I was looking for. And oh, Donald Trump's to blame. Oh no, it was Biden. Biden did this. Da, da, da. It's going to stoke the fighting in the streets, right? People are going to be it's going to be chaos in the streets. Oh, burning shit down and fighting ideologically and oh, blaming this and blame. No, it's you're the blame. Oh no, you're the blame.
Yes.
And
Tell
then
me why I saw. Tell me why I saw on either Netflix or one of those like subscription things. I saw a show called Civil War. Really? A show called Civil War? Like, what do y'all want us to do?
dude, if
Just
it's
saying.
not obvious, I mean, what's the way that we've been divided since Trump came on the scene? Like, imagine if something like that happens, right? Where like the dollar collapses, the stock market, the dollar collapses, everything fucking falls apart, and then it's like then the media has their seminal moment, right? Oh, Donald Trump collapsed the economy. Oh no, he's trying to be a fascist and because he'll have to like it saved a bunch of fucking rioting in the streets. Here comes martial
Right,
law, right?
right.
And
Yeah.
this has
He's a
been
dictator.
orchestrated. Like they've slowly set the stage for somebody to do this, to come in and initiate martial law and take over and basically fucking shred the Constitution. I mean, fucking the Patriot Act after 9/11 was set the stage for this. A lot of stuff during COVID, like this has been fucking piecemealed in through different administrations. Bush did a little, Obama did a little, Trump did a little, Biden did a little. Now Trump is in the position where he has emergency powers if the shit goes down, right? He can initial martial law comes in. Now he's the dictator they always predicted, right? The predicted programming comes to life. The fucking
Right,
prophecy, the self-fulfilling prophecy of the left comes true.
right.
And now we're in a situation where there's fucking fighting in the streets and the military's killing people and the dollars
Which,
collapsed and
which,
it's
by the
just
way, I
chaos.
want to add one more thing too, guys. There has been something that was signed into law a couple years back. I think it was during Obama, which was what's called the COG, the COG, the continuity of government. So
Mm,
in case there was ever like a natural disaster, some sort of event where like government couldn't continue, the plan was that FEMA was to take over, right? And so FEMA would get initiated, and then they would break down the United States into 10 regions and institute 10 governors.
yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this has been the plan. So now a national disaster, a national emergency could also be classified as a collapse of the currency, because when if there's a collapse of the currency and they need to get people to calm down and not riot and stuff like that, well, that is a reason, a very good possibility that they could utilize that to institute the breaking up of America. So I'm just saying, like
No,
I'm just throwing stuff out there.
bro, like I was preparing for this stuff during COVID. Like I've seen this stuff. I've been reading this stuff about the continuity of government thing for a long time, like stuff like that, right? I thought we were gonna have some crazy shit happen when we were going all these Bush wars, right? When Bush was in office, I thought we were in the apocalypse. So I started fucking looking at what could we do, right? Waiting for some seminal moment, and I thought COVID might have been it. We were able to fucking wiggle out of it,
That
but
was that
like
was the that was the test, the compliance test.
I mean, so was 9/11, dude. Like we've been
Right.
David Icke calls it the totalitarian tiptoe, right? We've been totalitarian tiptoeing for over 20 years now, and all it's going to take is we had 9/11, we had 2008, right? We had the first Trump election, we had COVID, right? We had January 6th. We had all these fucking things setting the stage for something, and the 2008 was a huge indicator that it all wasn't right in the house of cards that is our economy, right? That they put it back together. with fucking chewing gum and fucking and paper
Paperclip.
clips on the fucking house of cards, and they stuck it back together, and they've been blowing up a fucking big bubble underneath it, seeing how long it's gonna fucking stay there teetering, right? It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. It's in the fucking order out of chaos is their fucking motto, right? They've been preparing to unleash this chaos, this fucking hell on earth type of chaos where like all the systems break down, right? The whole system's been orchestrated to fucking collapse at some point. So it's
Right.
going to happen. It's just not it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And all this predictive programming has been predicting it, and getting you ready for it psychologically, and low key, like we talked about the programming you to bring about the things you don't want, right? The prayers to the devil.
Right.
They've
Fear.
This is part of the chaos magic. This is part of the magic, the black magic that's been inflicted upon us and our psyche, the psychological war that is society.
Right.
Is they have been programming this into our minds for my whole life, probably going back to my parents' whole life. And you know, the CIA has controlled Hollywood for a long time, been planting these seeds and slowly watering them. Right? It's like this eventual boom where the fucking thing just fucking hits the fan. So this is coming, and we're not saying this to make you afraid. It's just to prepare you. And
Right.
what we said a couple episodes ago was one of the things you got to do: invest in cryptocurrency, invest in precious metals. Another thing you can do: get some fucking seeds, start planting your own food. Get a little fucking. My mom's got these little like boxes, plant boxes, right? Where she's planting food. And you don't need to
Looks
have
like
a
an
whole lot of
heirloom.
fucking, you don't need to have a whole lot of land to plant some food. Plant some fucking food. Get some fucking MREs, meals ready to eat. You can get these at any kind of camping store or like fucking Bass Pro, you know, camping food. Get some MREs, meals ready
Yeah.
to eat. This is military MREs. You can find them at military surplus stores or fucking camping
Yeah.
stores.
I'm gonna
Get
chime in real quick. I think
and
one of
hold
the
on, one more
really
thing, one more thing. Get fucking water. Like
yeah,
bottled water, get the little fucking, they have these little straws that are like filter
life straw,
straws, right?
life
What what are
life
they
straw,
called?
life
Life
straw.
straw. Life straw, where you can stick this fucking straw in like the nastiest, disgusting water, and it will filter it out, and you will be able to drink the water. Like these are the things you can do. Just prepare yourself and look for survivalist tips. Like there, you just got it's better to have the knowledge than not. We were talking about this earlier, right? Knowledge, having the knowledge and applying it. Find the knowledge, and if it's this type of stuff scares you, then prepare yourself because this stuff will happen at some point. It's
Yeah.
not an if, it's a when. So
And one of the things I was gonna say about this, guys, is also um is that you know, us talking about this now is is very important to try and build a community around this information. Um, I think one of the important things that you said there that I thought was key was, growing. I think growing, if you're able to grow your own foods and fruits and vegetables, do it. Like get with your community, your neighbors, find a way to collaborate to do it because we're gonna need it. Like people don't really understand how truly like how dire vertical farming even in big cities if you don't have a lot of space like we really need to do this. Like it's not that far down the road where like we're gonna start really feeling the effects of it. And you don't want to start feeling the effects of it before you start to take action. You want to take action before it starts to hit. So when it hits, you don't feel it as much. But I'm just saying this is like a pre-warning, like we try to do a lot of awareness, a lot of bringing things to light here on this channel. Um, when do I feel like it might get a little bit more crazy? I don't know. I was doing a little bit of astrology research, and it looks like um, the Saturn conjunct Neptune happens February 20th of next year at 0 degrees, and that seems to be like what AI considered to be a hard reset point, which AI said that I didn't ask for it. so volunteered that this explanation for me, and we're all talking about a big reset, a great reset. So I figured out how fitting for it to describe February 20th as an astrological reset, 0 degrees in Aries. So, something to kind of put in your calendars, guys, to look out for February 20th of next year. But between now and then, we have to find ways to keep the wheels spinning and turning in our favor, in our favor of our neighbors and our family and our friends. And like I said, you don't want to figure this stuff out when it happens. You want to have a game plan in order beforehand. So this is your warning, guys. Like, we're on this channel, you heard it first or second or third, whatever, but we're almost out of time. I don't think there's a necessary to come back. I think we covered a lot. B, it was so great to see you. Guys, if you're tuning in, like, subscribe, make sure you comment, send us a note. I love you. I'm out. B, you can say your closing statements.
Prepare yourself, guys. Just knowing is half the battle. We gave you this information. Start preparing, because it's better to have this stuff in place. It's better to know than to get caught with your pants down. Like, this information can be seen as like fear mongering, or we don't want you to be afraid. Fear not. Like, you look at any of the scriptures, whether it be the Bible, the Quran, even like the Upanishads, or any of these scriptures that have been gifted to mankind, the phrase that's repeated most often is fear not. Fear not. Do not be afraid. There's no reason to fear, because behind all this is the energy of love, and the shadow is the fear. So the fear element is the shadow. So anything that's trying to make you fearful is shadow. So don't let the shadow consume you. This information can be fearful, but it can also be empowering. So let it empower you. Prepare yourself. Don't get caught with your pants down, and just move through life with love. And I want to end off with this Manly P. Hall quote.
Before you quote, I just want to say one thing, and that is, fear does also stand for false evidence appearing real. So don't forget that, guys. Okay.
That's part of the illusion.
Yeah.
Part of the Saturnian matrix, which is astrology. We can get into that more next episode. This is a Manly P. Hall quote. By some diversity of nature, we are suspended between the beasts and the gods. And in this middle distance, we try to build a world without knowledge of what a human being should be. By common custom, we look at others, and if we are like them, we decide we are normal. By the majority, we set the standard of right. The Neoplatonists differed on that important point. They said, when you want to see what men are, do not stand on a street corner, because you do not see them there. You see ghosts walking, and see animated masses of earth in which all that is real and enlightened is hidden. Only in potentials can they be termed men. Each of them can be human, but only those who have become wise are human. The rest are en route. The en routes make up the world we know. Only the great initiated adepts were recognized as human. The rest were creatures crawling towards the light, who, having eyes, see not, and are therefore blind, who, having ears, do not hear. It is in this matter that the Neoplatonists tell what they were trying to do at our stage of human development, not to make gods out of men, but to make men out of beasts, and so to lift humanity up to its true estate.
Manly P. Hall.
Manly P. Hall, great as always. So do not become beasts, become men. And that is our stock in this world. Is to not allow ourselves to be dragged into our beastly nature, to become as men were meant to be, which is in the image of God, and to use the knowledge to educate and to enlighten and to find wisdom. At the end of the day, the wisdom will carry us through and make us men. So I think that's a good place to end it. You guys, love you as always. Don't get caught up in the chaos magic. Stay in your power, and the chaos will have no control over you. We love you.
Peace.
You know that you're on your path because it disappears. That's how you know. How do you know that you're really doing something radical? Because you can't see where you're going. That's how you know. But everything you have lent on for your identity has gone. And so you are going to enter the black contemplative splendors of self-doubt at the same time as you're setting out on this radical new path. So you need to know how you know where you are. But actually, poetry shows how incredibly precise it is in there. It was a story that would be told to a young boy or girl that would ask the question, what do I do when I'm lost in the forest? So the elder says, stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Stand still. What do I do when I'm lost in the forest? Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. Listen, the forest breathes. It whispers, I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you.